5 countries where terrible pandemics took place. Before we start, I'd like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Super Top 10s. Throughout the course of history, disease outbreaks have ravaged humanity, sometimes changing the course of history and at times signaling the end of entire civilizations. Here are 5 of the worst epidemics and pandemics dating from prehistoric to modern times. Number 1. China Prehistoric Epidemic. About 5,000 years ago, an epidemic wiped out a prehistoric village in China. The bodies of the dead were stuffed inside a house that was later burnt down. No age group were spared, and the skeletons of juveniles, young adults, and middle-aged people were found inside their homes. The archaeological site is now called Hanmingmangya and is one of the best preserved prehistoric sites in northeastern China. Archaeological and anthropological studies include that the epidemic happened quickly enough that there was no time for proper burials, and the site was never inhabited again. Before the discovery of Hanmingmangya, another prehistoric mass burial that dates to roughly the same time period was found at a site called Miaoqiao in northeastern China. Together, these discoveries suggest that an epidemic ravaged the entire nation. Number 2. Asia's infamous Black Death. The plague has killed by far the most people, claiming tens of millions of lives around the world. Throughout history, plague epidemics have erupted in several eras, becoming known under different names such as Athens, Antoninus, Cyprus, and Justinianus. About a third of Europe's population was wiped out in the 14th century by the bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death because of the fact that the virus formed black spots on the skin, making it one of the deadliest recorded in human history. Black Death, which caused great destruction across Europe between 1347 and 1351, is estimated to have killed 75 million to 100 million people. The epidemic started in Southwest Asia and reached Europe in the late 1340s. Number 3. Athens, the Plague of Athens. Around 430 BC, not long after a war between Athens and Sparta began, an epidemic ravaged the people of Athens and lasted for 5 years. Some estimates put the death toll as high as 100,000 people. The Greek historian Thucydides wrote that people in good health were all of a sudden attacked by violent heats in the head and redness and inflammation in the eyes, the inward parts, such as the throat or tongue, becoming bloody and emitting an unnatural and fetid breath. What exactly this epidemic was has been long a source of debate among scientists. A number of diseases has been put forward as possibilities, including typhoid fever and Ebola. Many scholars believe that overcrowding caused by the war exacerbated the epidemic. Sparta's army was stronger, forcing the Athenians to take refuge behind a series of fortifications called the Long Walls that protected their city. Despite the epidemic, the war continued on, not ending until 404 BC when Athens was forced to capitulate to Sparta. Number 4. India Smallpox. Smallpox is a febrile, severe, and infectious disease seen in all ages and sexes, showing up as large, fluid-filled pustules on the face and all over the body that scabbed over and often left behind ugly scars. It was the most common cause of deaths in history, killing 30% of those infected. There were 2 types of smallpox, variola major and variola minor. This disease, which was spread between people via contaminated objects, was more commonly seen in children. The last naturally occurring case of smallpox was diagnosed in October of 1977, and the WHO declared its global eradication in 1980. Number 5. Spain, the Spanish flu. Spanish flu or influenza was caused by a deadly subtype of the H1N1 virus in 1918 to 1920. The Spanish influenza is considered the worst in modern history, killing an estimated 50 to 100 million people in just 18 months. Some 500 million people were estimated to have been infected by the virus, and its spread was exacerbated by the ongoing war. The disease was also prevalent during the last months of World War I and is thought to have played a role in ending the 4-year conflict. Unlike other flu viruses that mainly affect the elderly and children, the Spanish flu pandemic struck young adults and people without immune system problems. Its symptoms included chills, fatigue, nausea, sneezing, wheezing, and coughing. After developing nasty fevers and diarrhea, the sick person's lungs filled with fluid and turned their skin blue. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are currently on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.